Good day. Thank you for this opportunity. I am here under the umbrella of the Vienna NGO Committee on Drugs. I work with the Canadian Drug Policy Coalition, a non-partisan, evidence-based policy advocacy organization comprised of numerous NGOs and civil society groups in Canada. International drug control conventions were intended to protect the health and welfare of humankind. Unfortunately, they have worked against this. In Canada, they have created a context for mass death. A country of 38 million people, we currently have one of the world's most volatile and toxic illicit drugs markets. In 6 years, close to 40,000 humans died from opioid-related toxicity. We now average 21 deaths per day. An unintended but inevitable consequence of supply-side interventions is the expansion and diversification of novel, often more potent drugs. We prohibit one drug, another replaces it. We restrict precursors, but different formulas develop. UN ODC documents now discuss banning precursors. What will be next? Canada's drug laws are rooted in Eurocentric, colonial, racist, and classist ideals that specifically targeted Indigenous, Asian, and Black communities now most impacted by the global war on drugs. In Canada, over the last decade, heroin has almost entirely been replaced by numerous fentanyl analogues. But fentanyl may not have proliferated had we sensibly regulated instead of prohibited heroin. Fentanyl is not inherently dangerous. It is used widely in human medicine. But in the unregulated market, dosage and purity are never assured. Prohibition and unregulated drugs are killing people. Beyond the deaths, there are thousands of hospitalizations, a growing cohort of people surviving with brain damage after non-fatal overdoses, and traditional opioid therapies such as methadone are less effective due to increased drug tolerance. People have to use fentanyl more frequently than with heroin. This increases the need for more income, and sometimes people resort to transactional sex or low-level crime. The chances of communicable infections increase too. People are consuming drugs that unknowingly contain multiple substances. Benzodiazepines and nitazene-type compounds now widely contaminate the supply, adding complications. The diversification of drugs has caused unprecedented mortality, negative health outcomes, and social impacts, creating an untenable situation. It may sound incredible, but I wish we could go back to simply contending with heroin. Solutions to the world drug situation and Canada's toxic drug crisis require a shift away from the various harms of prohibition. We are apprehensive that the recently launched Global Coalition to Address Synthetic Drug Threats may further entrench enforcement responses and accelerate the range and diversification of drugs. We urge all member states and UN bodies to develop a new approach. The UN Office of the High Commissioner for Human Rights calls for the consideration of responsible regulation, including a regulatory system for legal access to all controlled substances. This is desperately needed. Thank you for your attention.